What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with a dueling book video featuring myself, and I was currently at 639 rating. There was a ladder reset like a month ago at this point, and my opponent, Offman, who is at 675 rating. And I just actually had this game, and there was a lot of things still fresh in my mind in this duel, which is why I wanted to go over it really quick. I wasn't actually expecting to record today. It is Christmas Eve when I'm recording this, pretty late. It's like 10:30 p.m. So I wasn't expecting on recording, but I really wanted to go over this game. One, to show you guys a really awesome game between what I'm playing, Tri-Brigade Spright, versus my opponent on Ishizu Tearlament, with a Kashtira package that I've seen a little bit pop up every now and then. And yeah, and another reason was for myself, because there were definitely a couple of misplays that I want to go over personally for me, drill myself on it, because that's something that, if you want to get better at the game, you kind of need to do sometimes, or not even need, but a really helpful tool is to review your own footage in some instances. So that works for some people, and it's something I like to do for myself when I'm not lazy. But yeah, before we get into it, if you hear any background noise, it's probably my heater. For those who live in the United States, and the last couple of days we actually had a massive cold front, and it got freezing. Okay, I was cold, so that was a fun time. But yeah, also before we get into it, Discord link down below along with all of our social media links. Also, if you do like this Yu-Gi-Oh content, you like what you see here, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me out in what I do here on the channel. And yeah, let's kind of get into it. But actually, also one more thing, and I know I'm taking too long on this intro, which, tis what it is. Sometimes I just like to talk to you guys. I kind of want to do dueling book games almost differently in a way. I'm not sure how this would work. It might just be like a garbage idea. But one thing I want to do is maybe do them like less where I'm just like really upbeat and like drilling information, and more casual style. Because I find for me, I usually like to watch dueling book videos when I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm just laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and it's something casual and chill for me to watch. Like we think of channels like DB Grinder, for instance. I usually go to bed watching that, get some good content before I go to sleep. So maybe doing like a late night casual dueling book type game series thing. I don't know if I'd make it a series, but I'm trying to do them like that, a little more laid back, a little less like in your face edited, like to an extent, and things like that. But you guys can let me know what you think of that down below. If you haven't already skipped to the duels, I'll definitely probably add something to tell you where to get to the games, because I'm just rambling at this point. This is going to be a long video now that I'm thinking about it, but this is some stuff I wanted to say. Sorry about the 3-minute intro for no reason, but yeah, let's get into this. So we're going to start with me losing the die roll, so fair enough. And game one, so let me explain some things about Tri-Brigade Spright as we play. Opening hands, I have Imperm, Carrot, Karis, Talent, and Kit. There's a lot of Ks. Carrot, Karis, Kit. Okay. This hand's okay, nothing crazy going. Second, we have 2 go second cards and a couple of ways to push. Our opponent opens Keldo, Mudora, Planet, Keldo, Fenrir. So he has Tearlament Engine kind of here. I mean, he does have Tearlament Engine here. He's got a couple of Ishizu cards and a Fenrir, and he is going first. So it's okay. It's not a crazy hand, but it's definitely solid. And yeah. So my opponent's going to start off here. And one thing I want to mention when I'm talking about Tri-Brigade Spright, right, is a lot of people have kind of slept on this deck. I think some people are still chilling back in Tri-Brigade format, and a lot of people are like, Tri-Brigade's kind of boring. It's not great content. But I feel like Tri-Brigade Spright is actually amazing amounts of fun. Like, okay, our opponent's going to go Keldo, search Kelbeck. So, yeah. Pitching Mudora. And yeah, I think there's so many different lines of play with this deck that make it so much more fun. So if you have been like straying away from Tri-Brigade, I think now is a pretty fun time to actually play it. And the deck actually is pretty solid for a couple of reasons, and one will pop up here shortly. Our opponent is going to tribute Keldo and Fenrir for Unicorn, which at this point, when I was playing him, I thought he was on an Ishizu, like, pure Kashtira list, because that's the only reason I would expect Unicorn, and especially to normal summon it like this. So I was like, okay, he's playing pure Kashtira. So I go ahead and use my Imperm here, because that's what I thought he was playing at this point. I get pretty punished because, yeah, I mean, he's on tier. He shows me the planet. I go, okay, well, fair enough. He doesn't get access to Birth, though, which is cool. So Shiren effect, gonna discard the Kelbeck more than likely. Gonna go ahead and mill 3 on his end. He hits He hit Solyek Scream. Luckily, Rhino Heart's not able to be triggered here. Otherwise, that would have been 3 good mills, which is ridiculous. But Solyek Scream together is also quite insane. So my opponent's going to proc Solyek and the Kelbeck. So he does not play any other traps besides the one Solyek. Otherwise, he would have activated the Scream. He's going to add Hovness. This is going to be a long video. So now Kelbeck is going to resolve. Our opponent mills 2 names in Hovness and Merly with a couple Bestials, which aren't great versus me. And we mill Angler and Nerval. That's one thing about Tri-Brigade Spright that I really, really enjoy, is there's actually quite a few cards you can hit off your opponent's Kelbecks and Agito's that get you a lot of value. And it's not value that can be stopped by shufflers, right? Like Angler and Nerval, they're just activating when they hit the grave. They're not getting shuffled away to not like get their effects. So that's huge, and you go so plus off of something like this, and it happens quite frequently. So, you know, Chain's going to resolve. He's going to activate Merly. He's going to activate Hovness. I'm going to go Chainlink 3 Angler for Nerval. Nerval's going to add Fractal, and we're going to special 2 Beavers. And, like, we already have a lot of stuff, even though we haven't gotten to play, right? So, this is after we've impermed him on one thing. Our opponent's going to resolve some fusions. He's going to make Kit Kalos, and he's going to take the Merly and the Shiren, and make Garura, all fair enough. Kit Kalos 1, Planet 2, pop a Beaver. Fair enough for me. I need to get some Beast Engraved, so even if he pops a Beaver, it's not the worst thing in the world. Our opponent does have 2 Shufflers, which is something we'll have to play around for sure, but not the end of the world. Kit Kalos effect, gonna go ahead special Merly. Gonna go for a nice mill 8. I believe the only name he hasn't used is Shiren. And our opponent's gonna mill 8 here. And luckily for us, he does not hit Shiren. He does not hit anything there. So a big mill 8 with, I mean, that's what happens when you play the Kashtira cards in it with the Bestials. Like, sometimes you're just not going to hit the 1 tier name you need, it feels like. He's going to link those off into Elf, and he's going to go Garura draw here, and he's going to draw into a Hovness. So Hovness is a very solid card. What can I say? End phase, nothing, my turn. So I'm going to start this turn with Jet because I want to get access to Smashers. He didn't mill a starter for me, but it was just like something I really wanted to search. And I wanted to try to bait stuff with my Spright package if I could. Excuse me. So we had Smashers there, and then our opponent is going to activate the Unicorn. Another thing about Tri-Brigade Spright is it's really hard to decide what to hit with Unicorn. You have so many wacky things in your extra deck that they're not used to seeing with Spright or Tri-Brigade. So deciding which engine to hit with something like a Unicorn can feel very strange. And it's also it's also true for Cherries. And I play 2 of Shureg and Elf, so you can't really hit those with a Unicorn. So he hits my 1 Gigantic, fair enough. I won't be making any Gigantic plays. Kind of sucks, but not the end of the world. I'm going to go Tactics to take, because at Resolution he did an Elf for Merly. So now I know I can either take his Elf, which is huge, or if he Elfs target Merly, I can take the Merly and he won't get the effect. And that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to target Merly, and I said I'll take the Merly. And then this is the old Guardian Chimera ruling. It's been ruled so many different ways, so many different times. Some people said yes, you can activate Guardian Chimera if you took it with Tactics. Some judges said no. I went ahead and activated the Merly. If you can't, you know, or if your judge says you can't, so be it. But this is one of those ambiguous judge things in Yu-Gi-Oh! My opponent says okay, so unless this one's just worded differently. No, it just says if it's normal or special summon. So I hit a Fractal, which is a beast, fair enough, and a red, which doesn't really matter too much, but not the greatest mills there. But it does give me another body to play with that's level 2, and we can make our Elf now. Normal summon kit, and they're going to think on summon. We do have Beast Engrave. Oftentimes they'll want to try to Mudora and Keldo away your beasts, but he also has Planet he can work with here. But we did put Jet in Graveyard, so our opponent's going to Mudora, target Kit Kalos and 2 Kelbecks. Fair enough, he just wants his Planet pop off this one. And our opponent's going to pop the Kit, but I'm going to chain Smashers to banish the Planet so we can keep our Kit. Goodbye, Beaver. You're just far less good than Kit is. Now, anything on Res, he's going to activate his other Shuffler. So we got rid of 2 Shufflers, and we were still able to have a Beast Engrave, right? So we still have Beaver, which is a beast, which is huge. So I'm able to activate Kit, banish Beaver to special summon the Link 1 Lightheart. Our opponent goes Hovness here, which is fair enough. I don't really have a... I probably should have summoned this carrot earlier. Like, before activating Kit, I probably should have summoned carrot... Actually, I probably should have summoned carrot earlier before planet could hit me, and then I could save my smashers, but zones are so hard in this deck. And, like, I've been playing this deck a minute now, and, like, zones are still difficult, so I didn't want to clog my zone somehow, special summoning the carrot, which is why I didn't. I don't really think that was a misplay on my part, but yeah, his Hovness hits 2 names, so we're in for a fun long turn. Sheesh. Oh, my favorite. I love playing against Ishizu Tear, guys. It's so fun. When you're having a good game, it actually is fun, and it feels very rewarding to, like, clear all the things they can do, and it makes you, like, it's very empowering to beat Ishizu Tear with a deck that isn't, you know, the mirror match, and you're not, like, hard countering it. However, sometimes it is very not fun to play against. Our opponent is going to make Dragos Tepelia, Merly, and Merly are going to make presumably Kalos. Yes, Kalos effect. He can choose to dump, he can choose to search for follow-up. Dump makes more sense here. He's going to go Rhino Heart, pitch the Hovness to special Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart effect, Chain Link 2, Hovness Chain Link 1. He's going to use every single fusion name off one Hovness. What a fun deck, Konami. Thank you for that. He's going to go Kaleido Heart here, Kaleido Heart effect. He's going to target the Elf. We haven't used Elf yet. Now I'm deciding if it's worth it to bring back Red now, or attempt to bring back Red, or make Elf again later and try again, but I do go ahead to activate Elf for Red, which I do think is the right play. My opponent doesn't Dragos Tepelia there, so fine, fair enough. Puts the Elf back, and then I'm going to special carrot here. It's kind of like a free tribute with my red if it comes to that. And this zone is usually pretty safe, so we're going to go ahead and link these off into Farajit, and we're not too locked because we haven't used starter and our opponent banished Gigantic. So now Farajit can go ahead and special summon the Fractal. And this is one thing I do like about Tri-Brigade Spright actually over Pure Spright, because I think a big topic is why play Tri-Brigade Spright when Pure Spright is so good. I do think this deck actually has a little more extending power in certain situations. Like, Spright has their normal summon most of the time, and they have starter. This deck has starter, their normal summon, and then they have Karas. And yes, Spright has Swap Frog, but opening up Swap Frog in a water is not the same as opening up Karas and a Beast. It's so much more likely to see Karas and a Beast. But then also this deck has some also very funky cards that it can do because it isn't Pure Spright. And I don't want to go too far in depth on that in case I decide to do a deck profile, but yeah, that's one thing I like about this deck. It also has Farajit to extend here. It also has Sprint for Beavers as well, but yeah, Fractal effect, banish 2. My opponent tries to Dragos Tepelia, in which I decide, yo, I need to get rid of this thing first of all, and this is just free. So I go Tribute the Farajit with the red to negate and destroy Dragos Tepelia. Then we summon double Dragon Lords in the EMZ, which is very important. You kind of wanted this in the EMZ already, so it was kind of fortunate for me that it worked out very conveniently, I should say. I'm going to use the Fractal effect on field. It's so good that you can just do that with Fractal. It's so disgusting. Kit effect, dump Nerval effect, add a Beast. It's just going to be pitched for Karas. Look at this extending, right, through what he had, which it wasn't like a lot of interrupts per se, because, I mean, it was 2 Shufflers, Dragos Tepelia, you know, had Hovness, Planet Pop, so, and a Kaleido Spin. So we've definitely played through a lot here, and that's what I love about this deck. It feels like I can just keep going, and we didn't like Pure Spright Bestial our opponent to death either, right? So Karas effect, we're going to banish an amount. I don't remember if this is 2 or 4. We're going to banish 4. Again, we're not locked, so we're just playing Tri-Brigade with some Spright cards at this point. Special summon the Shureg, such a good card. It's so crazy how even in 2022, almost 2023, Shureg off like Revolt or just summoning him feels so good. It is such a nice card. We're going to go ahead and banish the Kit Kalos, try to keep that out of the game forever. We're pretty sure he's not playing Crime, so I can go battle phase here. 1600 over 1400 Elf. 3000 over the Unicorn, and then we're going to use our Double Dragon Lords effect. Such a broken card. Double Dragon Lords is so ridiculous. Bounce Kaleido Heart, swing for 1200. In main phase 2, I'm pretty sure I leave it here. I mean, we have Ancient Warriors send Shureg, search DD Crow, so bounce Crow, and then also a red negate. So I was pretty sure I could just leave it here and it's just game. I don't think our opponent will be doing anything interesting. Is he even going to play this out? Yeah, he's going to Druis Worm, which is fair enough. You know what? Something here is kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it. It doesn't really matter, but our opponent could have normal summoned Keldo, So that if I send Shureg off the Ancient Warriors, he could like banish Keldo off the field to stop me from getting a search, which is something I think he should have done, but it wouldn't have mattered. Overall, it just wouldn't matter here. So we're gonna search. We're gonna add a Tri-Brigade monster here. So our opponent's just gonna scoop. And yeah, going into game 2, and I remember my opening hand is very nice. So game 2, I opened Tactics, Tenki, Nerval, Cyclone, Droplet. Another thing about this deck is it's one of the only decks in the format that I think plays Droplet in a way where it's still like one of the best go second cards in the game. You have Angler you can discard from hand, insane. You have Kit, you have Nerval, and then you have cards like Tenki, Cosmic, and Starter that are all free sends. I think Droplet's insane in this deck, which is one of the reasons I like it as well. Because I love Droplet, but it's just not that great right now. Keldo, Mudora, Kelbeck, Tactics. Our opponent's playing pure Ishizu, but he's going to pitch the Keldo he's going to pitch Kelbeck for Keldo, and normally, maybe after last game, he wouldn't want to activate this, but in this hand, he is 100% forced to activate it, so he's going to add Kelbeck. Kelbeck effect, mill 5, fair enough. Our opponent is going to mill a Shiren and a Druis Worm. Very lucky hit for him to hit something else there. I mean, overall, the hit wasn't lucky, so this is fair enough by all means. I'm going to mill Angler, Crow, Cosmic, called by an Imperm. So hitting Angler, very nice. It just feels so free. And it is. It's just free, which I really enjoy. Like I said, this is going to be a longer game, guys. So Shiren effect. I'm going to get my Beavers. He's going to Shiren, put back the Druis Worm, and make a Mud Dragon. He asked for anything on res. I don't have anything on res. He's going to Tactics, and I was like, oh, don't look at my hand. My hand's insane. But his hand's terrible, so he needs to draw 2 here. To where he draws Unicorn and another Mudora. Rest in peace, bro. Like, that is so much Ishizu. But he has plays here. It's not over, because I milled a Crow, which is really good for my opponent. Milling Crow is not ideal for me. So he's going to pitch Keldo for Mudora. He's able to extend. And, you know, even opening all this pure Ishizu isn't that terrible for me, or terrible for him, because having 6 shufflebacks against Tri-Brigade can be very good. But there's ways Tri-Brigade can play around it, which I really enjoy as well. My opponent's going to make Dark because he made the Mud Dragon Dark, which this is the play I was talking about, because this leads him to Merly, because special the Crow, make the Sprint. Of course, Sprint can go ahead and dump the Merly. Activate Merly effect. Now, he doesn't have anything great. He can send this back for Dragostapelia, and that's like it. Yeah, that's like it. That's all he can really do here. So our opponent's going to go ahead and let me move my seat here a little bit. Hope that didn't mess up the camera. Make Dragostapelia, normal summon Mudora, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, there's no way you drew so many Ishizu cards. That's so unfortunate. He's gonna make Dweller, and I have Droplet, so I'm like, this is fine. I have Droplet and Nerval. This is so good. He's gonna use a Shuffler to put back these 3. Fine by me. That means he's not using it on me. So we take those. Now here, I want to talk about the greatest misplay of 2022, and this is one thing I wanted to go over and just question myself, bro. My opponent is going to attempt to activate Dweller, and I say I have something in draw phase, so I'm being turn player, I get priority here, which, like, it didn't really matter if he was going to activate it hard like that anyways. I could have just chain Droplet, so whatever. I'm going to Droplet, discard Nerval, and you might be wondering, yo, this Cosmic has no use, so we should discard that with the Nerval to hit either the Dragostapelia or the Sprint. And you would be correct. However, I forgot Sprint actually has an effect. So I was like, wait, I need his Dragostapelia to be live so I can get some free talents. I don't think this will do anything to me, so it's free talent fodder. Or, hear me out, we could not be dumb, and we could totally discard this Cyclone and this Droplet. Why do we need these? Why do we need these? And we can hit his whole board. That sounds like a good play. That's not the play I make. I send Nerval to negate Dweller, thinking this is all I have to play around. But it's this, and it's this. So instead of playing against one interrupt that I forgot he added the Kelbeck too. This is late night dueling book is wild. This was a misplay I shouldn't have made. I was active enough, but forgetting the Kelbeck is something I just kind of lost mind of. This was just terrible. This is terrible on me. This is me actually just throwing the most winnable game you've ever seen. So I go Nerval. He's going to chain Dweller just to detach for cost. I'm going to add the Karass. Going to activate the Tenki. And, you know, I still have Droplet and Cosmic, which could be good cards, right? But overall, I much prefer not being in this position. So I'm going to normal summon the Fractal. Use Fractal effect to banish 2. Twitch my opponent, change Regos to Pelia. And I'm like, this is what I wanted. This doesn't do anything to me. I'm so good. Tactics to draw because I want to pitch for Karass potentially. Or I just want more cards because I still have plays here that having more cards, again, I think I'm not playing against any more interrupts. More cards could be good. So I draw another Tactics and a Kit. Kit's solid. It's a pitch for Karass. So here I'm going to link off a Beaver and a Fractal. For Sprint, I was like, haha, you fool! You thought I cared about this card. Silly me. I did care about this card. I dump Angler to special 1 Beaver. Essentially, this was like getting one of these for Gigantic, essentially. And here's where I think I'm so safe. I'm like, I just win. I just Sprite effect and win. And my opponent goes Sprint effect. I'm like, yeah? It's like that? And, yeah. And then I summon Karass, and I'm like, wow, even through my misplay, Karass is going to save me here. What a broken card. But I forgot about Kelbeck. So I'm going to go Kit effect to dump. My opponent's going to chain Kelbeck, bounce back the Karass. And now I'm sitting here like, yo, where did I go wrong? I misplayed, like, so bad with that Forbidden Droplets. It actually hurts me looking back at it. My opponent didn't even have to use a Shuffler, I think. Like, yeah, it's just tough. My opponent's going to shuffle away some things at end phase. I'm going to fast forward a little bit because this video is going to be long. And, like, this game, I already kind of messed up. So, my opponent's going to do his play. He's going to make Elf. He's going to Mudora effect. So, he's using all these Shufflers, which I'm, like, kind of fine with because, yeah, I need these gone to play the game adequately. He's going to Elf. I don't decide to drop with that. I'm like, that's fine. He's going to summon a lot. And he's just going to go battle phase and swing. I mean, he's going to put me really low. I do have Droplet. I could use it to, like, negate a lot of damage. But I think it's better to save for my next turn because I did the math. You know, he's going to put me at, like, 900 or something like that. Like, right under my Cosmic. So I knew Cosmic was dead. So he's going to pass to me. No, he's going to make the Dweller again. But again, I have Droplet. So, passes to me. And I draw Fractal. Solid draw. He has no more Shufflers. Well, he has one. It's under the Dweller. He's going to go Dweller effect. I'm going to Droplet here. And I'm not being dumb again. Alright? We are sending 3, I believe. Now, I sent Tactics. Maybe I should have sent Karass. And then tried to keep Tactics because he does have Shufflers. So, I think even sending this Tactics was partly a misplay. Maybe I should have said Karass instead. Either way, I'm negating all 3 monsters. I'm not dealing with this again. No thank you. So I'm going to normal summon Karass, activate the effect. Or maybe I should have discarded Nerval or Fractal instead of Karass. Because this is level 2. That does come up. But I think I could have added him again anyway. So he says it's fine on res. Because I think he forgets Beaver is a beast. Which is another thing so good about mixing both engines. I think he even says it like, oh yeah, I forgot that Beaver's a beast. So I was like, yes, yes, he messed up. We're gonna do it. So even through my misplay, suddenly I was like, there's a chance here. But what happens here? I think I mess up, or was it a misplay? You know what it is? I should have summoned red here. I should have summoned red because this Shuffler is going to end up getting me, and he said it was fine. So I should have summoned red instantly. This is kind of greedy, but I also felt like I needed this to win almost, because I need some bodies. I don't think Fractal is enough, but I'm going to add the Smashers. And here, you know, my opponent didn't say anything for a while, so I thought we were good, and I was going to banish these to make double Dragon Lords, so that Dragon Lords can send one of these, so Smashers is live on the next turn. But then I banish, and then my opponent says think on res, so you know. Is what it is. In a tournament, I would have been like, nah, bro. We waited, and I banished those. We're good, but, you know, whatever. I'm going to beat over his board. But because I can't make double Dragon Lords now to send a Spright card to make Smashers live, my opponent is free to just draw whatever, and, you know, he has Unicorn. We can see it just beats over. And you might think, hey, go ahead and link off. I can't link with these because you're locked into only linking with beasts. And that's another thing about Tri-Brigade Spright that's really hard, actually, is you have 3 different locks you have to constantly keep up with. It actually gets crazy, but I'm just going to fast forward the rest of this game. Because, yeah, I mean, he could just go battle phase and swing, but he does a bunch of mumbo-jumbo for no reason. So, yeah, that's game. But we're going first in game 3. And I make another egregious misplay in this game. And it was so tough. But anyway, opening hands. Starter, Foolish, Angler, a Pointer, Beaver. Drawing the 1-of. Very nice. 2 1-ofs. Nice. This is kind of weird. Not something you want to see, but we have starter. My opponent opens Solyek, Shiren, Imperm, Droplet, and Magnamute. So, not the craziest hand. It's not great. His hand's not great. It needs a good top deck. Alright, so I'm running out of breath here. So we're going to activate Starter, Special Blue. Blue effect. My opponent's going to be like, yeah, you wouldn't want to Imperm that. I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit. Jet effect. Add Smashers because it's just a good card. Make Sprint effect. My opponent's going to Imperm here. No, he actually doesn't. So he's waiting for the Gigantic. That's right. We're going to use the Angler effect. So now this Angler in my hand, I'm like, I just put it back with Ferrigit or Bearbrum. So that's fine. Excuse me. So we're going to overlay into Gigantic here. Effective Sprint or Spright, Gigantic, words. Opponent's going to Imperm there. That's fine. From here, I'm going to activate the Foolish Burial because this was how I was going to get to Kit. Now I can't get to Kit there, so I'm obviously going to have to use this to get to Kit. So Foolish, fantastic extender because it's either for Angler or your Tri-Brigade engine. So again, so much synergy between the engines here. So we're going to add the Fractal. Going to go ahead and make our Elf. Elf bring back the Kit. So broken. Such good synergy. Kit effect. I think I'm going to make Ferrigit here because I'm not locked into 2s because Gigantic was impermed. So I can make Ferrigit, or I think I'll make this to play around Nibiru, actually. I was actually afraid of Nibiru, that's right. But I haven't normal summoned yet. So I normal summon Beaver. That was the biggest misplay of my life. That right here, this right here could have lost me the game. 1, I banished both Beaver. Why didn't I banish Nerval? I should have banished 1 Nerval and 1 Beaver and had a Beaver to summon back, because I don't want the Angler. I don't want this on my board. I don't even summon it back. I'm like, yo, wait, no Beaver. If I declared it in real life, though, I gotta summon that Angler. But yeah, this should have stayed in hand. It's going to be very, very relevant. I should have had this stay in hand. I should have normal summoned the Fractal. I don't know why I didn't normal summon Fractal. I still don't know why I didn't normal summon Fractal. Like, I should normal summon Fractal, made double Dragon Lords here, taken Fractal and the Kit, made Ferrigit, link those 2 off for Pit Knight, and then send back the Angler and the Beaver, draw 2 new cards, and oh, it'd be so good. This Beaver play, I was actually frustrated at myself. Like, I was getting mad at myself, and I don't like to get mad when I'm playing Dueling Book, but I was pretty frustrated, because I was like, what a terrible play. Ferrigit, special to Fractal, should have been normal, but we've been over that, so I don't need to keep harping on it. Fractal effect, banish Nerval and a Beaver. Double Dragon Lords, link these 2 off for Pit Knight. Effect of Ferrigit, Chainlink 2, Bearbrum, Chainlink 1. About to very easily see where I mess up, and I keep the Starter because I know I need to keep a card in hand, so I'd rather it be Starter than Smashers was my logic. I would not have had to keep a card in hand if I had that Beaver in hand to put back. I would have just had Smashers, would have set a Pointer, Smashers, Revolt, and kept Starter in hand. But instead I have to do it like this, which means I lose an Interrupt. I lose an Interrupt, and I also don't have it set up for like the best Revolt. Like, I just have a random Fractal on the field. Why? Why do I have this random Fractal on the field? That is so bad. Having this Fractal really is bad for me. So That one normal summon Beaver messed me up like 2 different ways, so that was terrible. My opponent's going to Magna for Jet, sure. He's going to add Druid's Worm at end phase, fair enough. So he's going to go here now, and I'm going to a Pointer of the Red Lotus. My opponent is going to chain Druid's Worm. And I'm like, okay. And then my opponent droplets and discards his entire hand. Bro, was that necessary? It works. It definitely works for him here. But, you know, when you throw as bad as I did, don't give up yet, because the win condition is always that your opponent is going to play worse than you did, and they're going to mess up. That is always the win condition when all else fails. So I'm just hoping for my opponent to misplay here. I send this for cost so that I can summon back Farajit and 2 beasts and then make Shureg. However, my opponent has a shuffler, so I know that's probably not going to happen. I let him go main 1. I probably shouldn't have. I probably in standby phase should have tried to activate Revolt so he can't make Wallow. But again, the shuffler would have gotten me either way, because the shuffler here is really gonna get me, because he sends back Farajit, and because I have this stupid Fractal on board. Again, that's 3 different ways that Beaver messed me up, actually. That Beaver normal summon was 3 misplays and 1 summon. And then my opponent's able to take Foolish Burial with Wallow. So, again, this was a whole slew of misplays that has led to this point. We shouldn't be here, but I played terrible, so this is how you can lose games. I'm going to summon 3, just to make, what's his name? Rugal. It's the 1 Link 3 I play. And then Nerval effect, and I'm like, okay, Rugal is solid here. But, at this point, I'm thinking all hope's lost, right? So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. He's going to Foolish, dump a Tearlament name, Tearlament effect. I'm going to shuffle back. He's going to make Kalos effect, add Merly. Kit Kalos for the Merly, mill 8 Casino. He's going to mill a Rhino Heart and the Shiren, which was the last name he needed, I think. Yep, Shiren and Kelbeck, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably just toast here. I mill nothing. So he's going to send back the Shiren and the Kit Kalos, make Rule Kalos. Oh, I can't go back. Okay, this Wallow's on the field. Guys, I have 16 cards engraved. Wallow has an effect. Monster use control gain 800 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard. His Wallow is at 4,000 and his Kit Kalos is at 46. I'm at 49. He swings over the Elf and the Double Dragon Lords in battle phase with his big monsters, and it's just game. I almost clicked admit defeat here because I was like, okay, I lose. That Beaver killed me. But my opponent links off the Wallow. Why? Why? So again, never give up, because your opponent sometimes can throw harder and farther than you did. Another thing, like, my friends like to bring this one up a lot. This happens in real YCSs too. Like, there was someone who had game, and they always bring this up. And he linked his entire board into Saryuja and got Ghost Ogred when he had game on board. I've seen people talk about that. I don't know if it was actually at a YCS or a regional. If you guys know, you can leave it down below, but my friends talk about that all the time. I wasn't around when that happened, but yeah. I bring back the Nerval, and my opponent he shuffled back my Rugal. He's going to go here, and he is going to swing, and it's a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. My starter is dead, for sure. I cannot use starter. He's going to swing over my board, Nerval comes to hand, and I draw Imperm. Never punished. This is the karma of the universe, making sure I can capitalize on his misplay, because Imperm deals with Rule Kalos, which also deals with Kaleido Heart. So I start my turn, and I go ahead and Imperm is Rule Kalos, normal summon Kit. My opponent is of course going to Keldo, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 beasts in graveyard. So he's going to shuffle back three of the beasts, but that's just not enough. Effect of Kit, special summon Lightheart. This dude comes in so clutch. He's coming clutch twice this match. Make Farajit. Farajit effect. Also, Rugal brought this back to my hand if anyone was wondering why that happened. Kit effect. Dump Nerval. Get Fractal. Dump more with Fractal. This is just to get more names so I can make Shureg, because Shureg is the key to victory here. Shureg is so good. I love Shureg so much. I love the Tri-Brigades. I love these Tri-Brigades so much. Now that we haven't been in Tri-Brigade format in a while, I banished 4. I love these cards so much, and I love Kit. Kit and her story and how she fits into the Ecclesia storyline I really enjoy, and I like her artwork too. And then we're going to banish the Rule Kalos here, and then he has his just Kaleido Heart that can't do anything and Spin that can't do anything. Link off both of those into Elf, Ferrigede effect, and also I very cleverly kept Karas in my grave and banished everything but the Karas I dumped off of the Fractal. Draw a Crow off Ferrigede, put back the starter that was dead. Elf, bring back Karas effect. We're gonna go ahead and bring back or banish 2 for a, that's not how math works, for Bearbrum, and we're gonna go Battle Phase, and we're gonna swing Bearbrum over the Sprint, and then inflict 300. We're gonna crash Rugal into Kaleido Heart. We didn't have to do that. There was a line where you don't have to do that, but it's fine. Add a Crow, Elf effect, or Elf swing, make IP, and then, you know, if he does anything with Tearlaments, I Crow him. If he just summons a big monster, tries to go Battle Phase and win, I go Chainlink 1 Elf, Chainlink 2 IP, Special Back Karas, and make access code here, and then he can't Battle Phase me for game either. So we won. Our opponent leaves, doesn't say GG, unfortunate, but that's going to be it for this game. That was a long game, and this was a long video, but this was a good game, I think, despite the throws, but I wanted to go over it so you guys don't make the same mistakes. That being said, I'm about ready to just say, you know, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.